Come to the top of the mat into samastitihi, big toes touching with the heels slightly apart. Take a moment here to allow the attention to shift inwards into the body and into the breath. We'll start with an Om, bring the palms together. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Start with Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, externally rotating the shoulders as you bring them over your head, palms press, gazing up, reaching up. Exhale as you fold forward with a long spine. Hands to the mat, relax the back and the neck, bend the knees if you need to. Inhale into half lift. Lift the chest, lengthen the spine, fingertips on the floor or hands on the shins. Exhale, step back into a plank, shoulders over the wrists. And for this first one, we'll come all the way down to the stomach. So lower the knees to modify, bend the elbows, and bring the chest and the belly down towards the floor. And then you're going to shift into Sphinx position as we start to break down the back bend. Bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. And if that's too much compression in the lower back, then you can move the elbows forward a little bit. And relax here first for a passive version of the Sphinx. Starting to get into the lower back. Starting to get that pelvis into an anterior tilt. Now we're going to shift into a more active version of the Sphinx. Pressing into the tops of the feet, down into the mat, engaging through the quads so the kneecaps start to lift. And then pressing the pubic down into the floor as you reach the rib cage away from the hips as you gently move the elbows back towards the hips. So it feels like you're dragging your elbows back to really help you reach the chest forward using that leverage as you press the elbows down. And now bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, lifting the chest up. Keep the elbows bent a little bit as much as it feels comfortable in the lower back. Really press the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the legs strong. And then shifting back into a downward facing dog. Good. And settle here. Allow the lower back to release after that first back bend. And then settle into this posture. Settle into the breath. Establish an even breath, matching the length of the inhales to the length of the exhales. Watching the breath as it moves in and it moves out. Good. Keep the lower belly pulled in. The neck is relaxed and gazing up towards the thighs or towards the navel. On your next inhale, step to the top of the mat, feet together into half lift, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, fold forward as you keep drawing into the lower belly. Relax the back and the neck. Inhale, come to stand, pressing down through the feet, reaching up. Exhale, back into samastitihi. Good. Again, inhale, arms over your head, palms touch, gaze up. Exhale, fold forward, full breath out. Inhale, half lift, flattening the back, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, step back into a plank. And exhale, bend the elbows. Again, come all the way down. Untuck the toes, point the toes, press the feet down, and lift the chest. You can keep the thighs on the floor this time. Try to make this as passive and relaxed as possible. With the arms are strong, pressing the shoulders down, and maybe bending the elbows if you need to really help reach the rib cage away from the hips. And when you're ready, you can shift back into downward facing dog. Settle into the breath. Feel the shoulders moving away from each other. You want the shoulders to be externally rotated. So it feels like the shoulder blades are wrapping around towards the front of the body, and the upper back is getting really nice and wide. So this external rotation in the shoulders is very important for some of our back bends like Urdhva Dhanurasana or the wheel pose. You really want to learn how to externally rotate the shoulders so when the arms are over the head, they can properly hold weight. Feel the legs strong. And then start to walk up into half lift. Look up and lengthen. Find space. Exhale, fold forward into that space. Keep the legs strong. Inhale, come to stand. Arms over your head. Lift the rib cage. Feel that space moving away from the hips. Exhale, samastitihi. Okay. Again, inhale. Arms over your head. Palms touch. Exhale. Fold forward over the legs. Inhale into half lift. Lengthening deep breath in. Exhale, step back into a plank. Bend the elbows, chaturanga. You can come all the way down, or you can hover off the floor before you move into upward facing dog. Let the hips sink down towards the mat as you lift the rib cage away from the hips. Feel that space as the pelvis tilts into the back bend, pressing into the feet. Legs are strong. Maybe looking up. Exhale, moving back into downward facing dog. Good. Releasing the lower back. Feel the breath moving into the rib cage. So allow the rib cage to expand on the inhale and contract on the exhales. It's like when you're inhaling, it's moving away from the center, and as you exhale, everything is moving back in towards the center. Keep pressing into the hands, reaching the hips up and back. And on your next inhale, walk up to the top into half lift. Exhale, fold forward, keep the legs strong as you relax the back. Inhale, come to stand, pressing the feet down, reaching the arms up, reaching the rib cage up. Exhale, samastitihi. Good. We'll do one more Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, lift the arms, tuck the tailbone, keep lifting the rib cage. Exhale, fold forward, pull the lower belly in, relax the neck. Inhale into half lift, lengthening, shoulders away from the ears, keep the lower belly drawn in. Exhale, step back into a plank, bend the elbows, hover off the floor, untuck the toes, lift the chest, upward facing dog. Maybe lifting the thighs this time, keeping the glutes relaxed and the legs strong. As you lift the rib cage, find space through the front body, press the shoulders down, and spread across the collarbones, and then exhale into downward facing dog. Feel the breath moving in and out. Watch the breath move in and out. Steady breathing. Slow, steady inhales and exhales. Smoothing out the edges of the breath. So as the breath transitions from the inhale to the exhale, and the exhale to the inhale. Inhale, come up into half lift. Exhale, fold forward. Full breath out. Inhale, arms over your head, tuck the tailbone under, lift the rib cage. Exhale, samastitihi. Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, Utkatasana, bend the knees, lift the chest, palms press. Exhale, fold forward, straighten the legs as much as it's comfortable. Inhale into half lift. Exhale, step or jump back into plank, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog, roll through the spine, press through the shoulders, pull the lower belly in, strong mula bandha. Exhale into downward facing dog. Now we're going to hold it in between these sides. So bring the right foot forward in between the hands and lower the back knee, untuck the toes. First we're going to hold it here to stretch out the psoas muscles, the front of the left hip. So feel the left hip sinking down into the mat. And you have a couple options with the hands. So you can either keep them on the floor on either side of the right foot, or you can lift the chest and bring the hand to the right thigh. Keep relaxing, keep softening the front of the left hip. And as you bend more into the right knee, feeling a little bit more of a stretch into the front of the left hip, as much as it's comfortable. If you need to lessen this, then you can slide the left knee forward, and that'll ease it up a little bit. And then if you want to make it more intense, you can slide that left knee back. Another option with the arms is bringing the hands behind the neck and then lifting up through the chest and reaching the head back. Keeping the elbows in towards each other. This is going to give you a little bit of a stretch through the front of the shoulders, which is going to come in handy for Urdhva Dhanurasana, and a little bit into the thoracic spine. You can stay there, or another option is bringing the hands on the inside of the right foot. So you can scoot that right foot out to the side a little bit. All of these versions, you're stretching the front of the left hip and allowing the hip to sink down towards the floor. This is the psoas muscle. Super important for this to be open for back bends and to also just have some more comfort in the lower back. Okay, another option, just have the hands on the floor. We're almost done. Keep the breath steady. Stay with the breath. Now maybe for one last version, tuck the back toes, lift the left knee, and keep that left knee really, really strong. As you reach the right knee forward, keep bending into the right knee and reach the left heel back. All right, now we're going to shift into Virabhadrasana. Lower the back heel. Inhale, lift the arms over your head. Keep bending into the right knee. Exhale, come down into plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, same thing on the other side. Bring the left foot in between the hands. Lower the back knee and untuck the right toes. And again, find your version. And stay with the breath. Keep the breath long, smooth, and steady. Or you can have the hands to the floor. You can bring the hands to the thigh and lift the chest. Allowing the front of the right hip to open and move down towards the floor. Remember, find the version that works for you, that takes you to your edge. So to make it less intense, scoot that right knee forward, or to make it more intense, scoot the right knee back. And feel free to stick something underneath the right knee if it's uncomfortable on the floor like that. Good. Keep bending into the left knee. Keep lifting the chest. Remember, another version is to bring the hands behind the head and let the weight of the head pull the hands back as you keep the elbows together and lift through the center of the chest. So again, you're trying to create space in the front body, lifting the ribcage away from the hips. Keep pressing into the left foot and bending into the right knee as you reach the chest up and back. Good. Stay there, or take the other version with the hands on the inside of the left foot. Keep sinking the hip down. Keep focusing on the breath, moving in and out. Take that last version. Scooting that left knee back to the center and tucking the back toes, lifting the knee. As you bend into the left knee, reach back through the right heel. Keep the right leg really strong and keep sinking the hips down towards the floor. And then shifting into Virabhadrasana, lower the back heel. Inhale, lift the arms up, palms touch, gazing up. Exhale, come back down. Stay with the breath as you bend the elbows for Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Deep breath in. Press the shoulders. Spread through the collarbones without pinching the shoulder blades. Exhale into downward facing dog, and we hold it for 5 breaths. Good. If you need to take a child's pose, go ahead and take a child's pose. Matching the length of the inhales to the length of the exhales. Steady breathing. Feel the shoulders wrapping around towards the front. On your next inhale, step or jump into half lift, lengthening. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Inhale, Utkatasana. Bend the knees, lift the chest, sink the hips down. Exhale, Samastitihi. One more, Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, bend the knees, lift the chest, pull the lower belly in, palms press. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into half lift, lengthening, finding space. Exhale, step or jump back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog, feel the back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot forward. Now this time we'll just stop for a moment, lower the back knee. Now you're going to reach for that back left foot. Bend the left knee and bring the foot towards the butt. This is going to be a super intense psoas stretch. So ease into it. Keep bending into the right knee. Feel the front of the left hip stretching. And bringing that foot as close as possible to the left glute. Steady breathing. Exhale. Shift back into Virabhadrasana. Lower the back heel. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Same thing on the other side. Bring the left foot forward, lower the back knee. And then you can have the left elbow on the left thigh as you bring the right foot towards the right glute. Easy. Take your time. Keep the breath deep and steady. Keep breathing into the front of the right hip. Good. And slowly shifting out of it, let go of the foot and come into Virabhadrasana. Lower the back heel. Inhale, lift the chest, palms touch, gazing up. Keep bending into the left knee. Exhale, come back down, find your plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And settle into the breath. Settle into this posture. Keep the lower belly pulled in and the breath even and steady. Stay with it. Stay with the breath. On your next inhale, step or jump into half lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Bend the knees, lift the chest, pull the lower belly in. Exhale, Samasthiti. One last Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, bend the knees, lift the chest, keep the lower belly pulled in. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Inhale into half lift, lengthening. Exhale, step or jump back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, deep breath in, upward facing dog, strong legs. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now without stopping this time, inhale, right foot forward, lift the chest, palms touch, gazing up, keep bending into the right knee. Exhale, step back, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, lift through the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Other side, left foot forward. Inhale, lift up, gaze up, bend into the left knee. Exhale, stay with the breath. Plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, pull the chest forward and up. Exhale, downward facing dog. And settle here. Settle into the posture, into the shape, the physical shape of this posture, but also the internal form of this posture by allowing the attention to drop inwards and observe the breath moving through the shape. Settling the mind inwards. On your next inhale, step or jump into half lift, lengthening, creating space. Exhale, folding into that space, folding over the legs. Inhale into Utkatasana, bend the knees, lift the chest. Exhale, Samasthiti. Padangusthasana, bring the feet hip-width distance apart. Inhale, fold forward, catch the big toes, and lengthen through the spine, pull the lower belly in. Exhale, fold forward. You can bend the knees here if you need to. Feel the strength of the legs supporting this posture. It's the foundation here so that the spine can relax, the back can relax as it pours out of the pelvis. Move the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the collarbones nice and open as you keep reaching the chest in the center of the chest towards the floor. Inhale, lift the chest. Hold it on the exhale. Padahastasana. Inhale, slide the hands underneath the feet. Toes up against the wrist crease. Lengthen. Exhale, fold. Again, you can bend the knees if you need to. If the legs are straight, lifting the kneecaps. Lifting the sit bones. And then maybe shifting the weight forward towards the tops of the feet. Relax the neck. Keep drawing in the lower belly, finding new spaces to move into. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale there. Inhale, come all the way up to the top. Back into Samasthitihi. Come into Parsvottanasana. So take a big step out to the back with the right foot. Exhale, turn the right toes towards the back of the mat and bend into the right knee over the right ankle. Exhale, move into the posture. So either your right forearm comes to the right thigh or the right hand comes to the outside of the right foot. And you reach the left arm over your head, externally rotating the shoulders so the pinky fingers point down towards the floor. Shoulder moves away from the ear. Keep bending into the right knee and moving the right knee back towards the right arm if that hand is on the floor. So keeping the right knee over the right ankle. Inhale, start to come up slowly, and then pivot the feet. Right toes in at 45 degrees, left toes out towards the front of the mat. Bend into the left knee, and then go into your version of Parsvottanasana. Make sure the left knee is directly over the left ankle. Moving that left knee back towards the left arm if the hand is on the floor. And then keep pressing down into the right foot, the outside edge of the right foot, lifting the arch of the right foot. So feel that stretch along the right side of the body. Find the breath. Keep bending into the left knee. Inhale, come up. Now we'll do the B, twisting version. Pivot around, face the back of the mat. Lower the back left knee. And this is a good preparation for back bending. Inhale, lift the left arm to create space through the front side of the left hip. And then as you move into the twist, the right hand is on the outside of the right thigh. Tuck the tailbone, round the spine a little bit as you bring the left elbow onto the outside of the right thigh. Pull the lower belly in. And if the elbow is on the thigh, you want to think about moving the palms towards the center of the chest. The hands are in prayer. If the hands get close to the center of the chest, then you can go for the next version, which is bringing the left hand to the outside of the right foot onto the floor. And you want to close that gap between the outside of the left shoulder and the outside of the right knee. Then you can reach the arm up, the right arm up towards the ceiling. Maybe tucking the back toes, lifting the knee so that left leg is straight and strong, reaching through the back left heel, bending into the right knee, reaching the right knee forward. And then maybe you can bring the right arm over the head in that same external rotation as Parsvottanasana A. Keep reaching the chest forward and up towards the ceiling as you move the spine into a twist. And when you're ready, you can slowly coming out of it. And we'll come into the other side. Face the front of the mat and lower the right knee. Inhale, deep breath in, reach the right arm up, find space through the front body, and as you move into the twist, tuck the tailbone slightly, round through the spine slightly as you bring the elbow across to the outside of the left thigh. And you can use the elbow pressed down as leverage to spin the torso up towards the ceiling into the twist. Keep the shoulders away from the ear and the chest reaching forward and up. Again, finding that space, that softness between the ribcage and the hips. If you're ready for that next version, you can bring the hand to the floor. Lots of options here. Wherever you are, keep dropping the left hip down towards the floor. So again, finding space between the ribcage and the hip. As the left hip drops, the chest moves up and away from the hip, from the left hip. Keep the lower belly pulled in, breathing into the rib cage, the sides of the rib cage, the back. Steady breathing. Stay with the posture. That back knee is lifted. The leg is strong. Good. On your next inhale, slowly coming out, opening up to the side. Exhale, back into Samasthitihi. Now move into prasarita, parutanasana. Inhale, step the right foot back, feet parallel to each other, hands to the hips. Exhale, hands to the floor, fold forward. Inhale, deep breath in. And then exhale, fold. If the palms are flat, you can walk them back. Keep the hands shoulder width apart. And if the elbows are bending, you're reaching the elbows to maybe someday be over the wrist. So don't let the elbows splay out to the side. Keep drawing the elbows in and the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, lift the chest, straighten the arms, hold it on the exhale. Inhale, come all the way up to the top, hands to the hips, and exhale there. B, inhale, reach the arms out to the side. Exhale, interlace the fingers behind the back. This is C actually. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, fold forward. Keep the fingers interlaced and allow the hands to move away from the hips towards the floor. Keep the legs super strong. That's your foundation. Feel that connection into the ground as you release through the spine. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders. Breathing slowly. Relax the shoulders. Need flexible shoulders for back bending. Inhale, come all the way up to the top. And exhale there. Good. Release the hands. Come to the top of the mat into Samastitihi. Inhale, bring the arms over your head. Palms touch. Exhale, fold forward. Hands to the mat. Inhale, half lift. Lengthening. Exhale, step or jump back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Press the shoulders, sink the hips down. Legs are strong. Maybe looking up, gazing at the tip of the nose. Exhale into downward facing dog. And now we'll jump through to seated. So if you don't know how to jump through, you can sink the knees down, lower the hips. We'll come into Dandasana. So legs in front of you straight. Take a moment here to collect yourself if you need to. Legs are engaged. Flex the feet and press the heels down into the floor as you bring the hands next to the hips. Spine is straight. Pull the lower belly in. Allow the sit bones to sink down into the mat as you lift up through the center of the chest. Taking deep breaths into the ribcage. Allow the ribcage to expand through all sides on the inhale and contract through all sides on the exhale. Folding forward, inhale, folds forward, catch the big toes. Exhale, folds over the legs. You can bend the knees here if you need to. Settle into the breath, relaxing the lower back and all the muscles along the back, but keep the legs strong. A lot of these postures is about knowing where to engage and where to relax. And relaxing as much as we possibly can while still maintaining the structural integrity of the posture. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale there. And take another forward fold, your deepest version, maybe interlacing behind the feet. Exhale, fold. Keep drawing in the lower belly. And although you're keeping the back relaxed, on each inhale, still find some more space by reaching the center of the chest and the crown of the head towards the toes. So finding space in the front body to fold deeper, but keeping the back relaxed and keeping the lower belly drawn in and the shoulders relaxed. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale there. And release the feet. We'll go straight into Purvottanasana. This is another back bend. Slide the hands behind the hips. A good amount behind the hips, fingertips pointing forward. You're going to roll the shoulders forward so the shoulder blades move away from each other. Tuck the tailbone under and lift the pelvis, lift the hips up. Keep the feet touching, the legs internally rotating towards each other. Keep pressing through the hands, rolling the shoulders forward and lifting the hips. A little bit more, keep lifting the hips, keep the feet touching, and then exhale, slowly come down. And we'll take a vinyasa across the shins. Inhale, lift up or roll over the feet. Find your way into a plank. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Now we're going into Shalabhasana. So from downward facing dog, inhale, shift into a plank. Shoulders over the wrist. Exhale, bend the elbows, come all the way down to your stomach. Good. Untuck the toes. Bring the hands alongside the body with the palms facing up. Keep the feet together. Inhale, lift the legs, lift the chest. Keep the legs straight as possible. Keep the feet touching. And keep reaching the center of the chest forward as you reach the toes back. So you're finding as much space as possible through the spine. Now shifting the hands next to the waist, right below the elbows. And press the hands down and back as you reach the chest forward and up. Feel that space between the rib cage and the hips as you press the pubic bone down into the floor. And exhale, release. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now we'll go into Ustrasana. Inhale, we're going to come to our knees. So you can jump forward onto your knees, keep the knees hip-width distance apart. And we're going to do Ustrasana 3 separate times. So feel free to ease into it and slowly build up into your deepest version. So for this first version, we'll just take the palms to prayer. And you're going to think about pressing the feet down into the floor, strong legs, and just lifting the chest up. So finding that space between the rib cage and the hips. So really simple. Just start lifting the chest up, feeling that space as you move into the upper back. So you're creating space in the lower back as well. Teach us to not dump into the lower back as we move into back bend. Stay there. Maybe you can interlace your fingers behind the back and use that as a counteraction to lifting the chest up. So as you reach back through the hands interlaced, you're lifting the chest, finding the space, and then exhale, release that. Good. Now for the second version, we're going to start to move deeper into the posture. So moving our hands back towards our feet. You can tuck the toes. And move into it the same way as the first time, lifting the chest, finding space between the rib cage and the hips, and moving up, over, and back. Start to shift the hips forward as you start reaching the chest up and back. Keep the lower belly pulled in, and maybe you find your feet, the heels. And as you press the hands into the heels, you keep reaching the chest up. So it's like something's holding you up from the middle of your upper back. It's lifting you up from there. Inhale, start to slowly coming out of it. You can do either one of the first 2 versions, or you can try with the toes untucked and the palms flat on the feet with the fingertips pointing in the direction of the toes. All right, inhale, slowly moving into it, lifting the rib cage up away from the hips. And as you drop the head back, you start to shift the hips forward. Keep reaching the chest up. And then moving the hips forward little by little, easing into it that way. Lift the chest, move the hips forward. Pressing into the feet, the legs are super strong. And when you're ready, you can hang the arms behind you, find the feet. With the toes untucked and the palms flat on the bottom of the feet for the deepest version. And when you get there, you don't relax. You keep the legs strong, keep pressing into the feet, keep lifting through the chest, pulling the lower belly in, and shifting the hips forward. Steady breathing, slowly coming out of it. Good. And coming down into a squat. To release the lower back, you can hug the knees in, relax the neck, drop the head, or you can take child's pose. Steady breathing. Good. It's for the lower back releasing. Come back to your knees. Now we're going to do, not another posture, but a drill for Laghu Vajrasana, which is another really important posture. Come to your knees, palms together, and you're going to lean back. Lean back, try to keep a straight line from the shoulders to the knees. So the quads are on fire. Hold it. Hold it. Press into the feet and come back up. Shoulders over the knees. Okay, we're going to do that 2 more times. So you want to feel the strength in the legs. Super important for back bend to have strong legs. Lean back, straight line between the shoulders to the knees as you lean back, shift back. Pull the lower belly in, press through the feet, feel the quads burning, and then come back. Okay, 1 more time. I know this is hard. This was really hard for me when I was doing it. All right. Lean back, feel the quads. You're one piece, you're integrated from the shoulders to the knees. Hold it, keep the breath steady. Hold it, and come back. All right, release it. Let's take a vinyasa. Inhale, make your way into a plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. We're going to come into puppy pose. From tabletop, walk the hands forward. And then drop the forehead down to the floor. And to release the shoulders a bit. For modified version, you can bring the palms together towards the center of the upper back. Or you can have the arms straight with either the forehead or the chin on the floor. Wherever you are, you're sinking the chest down towards the floor. Keep wrapping the shoulders away from the ears and allowing the front of the shoulders to stretch and open. This is also really good to help us get into the upper back. Good. And slowly coming out of it. Let's take a vinyasa. Come into downward facing dog. And jump through to seated. Lie down on your back. We're going to come into Urdhva Dhanurasana. But first we'll do bridge pose. Bend the knees, plant the feet in front of the hips. Make sure the feet are parallel to each other. Press into the feet and lift the hips up. You can catch the ankles or you can interlace the fingers underneath the hips. Pressing into the feet and lifting the hips up. Keep the knees in towards the center. Steady breathing. Keep reaching the knees forward and the chest towards the chin. And slowly roll down through the spine, hips on the floor. Good. Now, if you'd like to go into Urdhva Dhanurasana, bring the hands next to the ears, fingertips pointing towards the shoulders, and leave some space between the hands and the ears. Squeeze the elbows in, come up to the top of the head, and again, squeeze the elbows in and pull the shoulders in towards their sockets. Inhale, come up. Press into the hands and into the feet. As you start to move the chest over the hands by pressing into the feet, keep wrapping the shoulders around towards the front into external rotation. Elbows in. Keep pressing the feet down, lifting the hips up, and reaching the chest over the hands. Exhale, bring the head to the top of the head to the floor, and walk the hands in. Pull the shoulders into their sockets, and inhale, come back up. Steady breathing. Good. Pressing into the hands, pressing into the feet, lifting the pelvis up. Feeling the stretch to the front body. Relax the neck so the upper back has space. Exhale, come to the top of the head. Walk in if there's space. Exhale, come up. 1 more time. Feet parallel to each other. Heels move out, toes move in. Legs are internally rotating towards each other. Maybe if you have a little bit more space, you can walk the hands in towards the feet. Keep opening into the upper back. Relax the glutes, relax the butt as you keep using the legs strength, the quad strength to lift the hips. And then maybe you come up to standing, shifting into the feet, and coming all the way up. Good. We'll do vinyasa from here. You can either join us from the floor in plank or from Samasthiti. Inhale, arms over your head, palms touch. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into half lift, lengthening. Exhale, step or jump back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. And we'll jump through to seated. Straighten the legs out in front of you. We'll take parutanasana for a forward fold to release the lower back after all that back bending. So catch the feet. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Settle into the breath. And don't make this so much about pulling yourself forward or down to stretch the hamstrings. This is more about releasing the lower back. Stabilizing the nervous system after all that back bending by slowing down the inhales and the exhales. And if maybe you're just a little bit extra agitated right now, see if you can lengthen the exhales, particularly the exhales. So slowing down the exhales extra, making them a little bit longer than the inhales. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale there. Let's take a vinyasa. Cross the shins. Inhale, make your way into a plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, jump through. Find a comfortable seated position. You can take full lotus if that's accessible for you, or just find a comfortable seat. Wrap the hands behind the back. You can grab onto opposite elbows. You can take the bind. Exhale, fold. Forehead towards the mat. Settle into the breath. Following the breath all the way through the inhale, all the way through the exhale. Stay with the breath. Allowing the attention to start turning inwards even more. Inhale, come up, shoulders over the hips. Release the hands, bring the wrist towards the knees and the pointer towards the thumb. Straightening the other three fingers. Straightening the arms. Pulling the lower belly in and breathing into the rib cage and out of the rib cage. Keeping the spine straight. As you keep the mind on the breath, moving into the body and out of the body. Following the breath. Stay with it. Almost there. Stay focused on the breath. With a straight spine. Settling into the body. Focus is inwards. Okay, last posture, Uplutihi. Stay in lotus or just keep the shins crossed with the knees towards the chest. Inhale, lift up. Hands are in front of the shoulders and you're pressing down through the shoulders, lifting the hips up. Keep pressing the shoulders down. Shoulder blades are moving away from each other, so your upper back is rounding. Stay up. Don't come down. Steady breathing. And come down. Good. All right, let's take one final vinyasa. Inhale, make your way into a plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale, we'll jump through to seated and make your way into shavasana, final resting pose. And do whatever you got to do to get extra comfortable. Close the eyes, got a blanket, turn the lights off. Completely relaxing the body, full body relaxation. Allow the breath to be natural. If you're ready to come out of it, start to make small movements and deepen the breath. Start to wake up the body. And slowly make your way back up to a seated position. Take your time. When you get there, if you'd like to, you can close the eyes, resting the hands wherever it's comfortable. Settling here for one last moment. Turning the attention inwards, settling into this inner space of the body before you move on with the rest of your day. Feeling into the body, feeling the residue of the practice, anything that's left over from these past 50 minutes or so of practice. Noticing the breath. Keep noticing the breath. Bring the palms to heart center. We'll finish with an Om. Inhale. Thank you. Thanks for practicing with me. Hope to see you soon.